Well, yet again, Aston Villa struggle at home against a team that they really should be beating, especially if they have aspirations of finishing in the European places. This time it was a turn of Ipswich to frustrate Aston Villa, and it was Aston Villa 1, Ipswich Town 1. And to make matters even worse, Ipswich went down to 10 men and we still couldn't find the result. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, help us continue to grow. We're about 3 away from 5,300 on the road to 6K, ultimately trying to hit 10K. So please do help us get there and get your comments in, your thoughts on today's frustrating performance, and one that has come to be common for Aston Villa at the minute. Too slow and ponderous around the box, trying to score the perfect goal, not running at players, not shooting from distance enough. Yet we did do that at times, mainly when we were desperate to try and score a goal, and just not capitalizing on certain mistakes and not competing enough with a team that is going to give everything, every single thing, and throw their bodies on the line and try and do everything to get the result, and then be sloppy at the back and concede a silly goal. And we've seen this story happen so much this season. We found ourselves chasing games, trying to be desperate in games. Why haven't we ever really had a comfortable victory at home or any time this season, really, in the Premier League? So it was the same old story. And I don't know, now I'm thinking back, I don't know why I said it would be a comfortable 4-1 win. Maybe the victory against Tottenham may just get carried away. But yeah, the past experiences, the past results of this season at home have been one of struggle, have been one of trying to come from behind or conceding late goals to drop points. And yes, we managed to get back into this game, but ultimately we dropped 2 points. So let's get into the starting lineup. We obviously saw Axel Disasi come in for his first start for Aston Villa. Emi Martinez in goal, Andres Garcia at right back, Kamara still in centre back, Disasi and Digne at left back, and then we have McGinn and Tielemans as that base in the midfield, with Ramsey and Rodgers in front of them, Marlon off the right, and Ollie Watkins coming back up front. And we did see Leon Bailey as well in the squad, so he's obviously got an injury. Asensio and Rashford on the bench, of course. So that gave us some options, but maybe not as many as we probably needed or anticipated. Villa got off to a really quick start. I think it was Rodgers who went through, and the goalkeeper actually maybe took him out. Could have maybe had a penalty, maybe could have been sent off, but obviously didn't. I don't think there was enough in it to warrant a penalty. But it was a great start from Aston Villa and really on the front foot. And particularly against these types of sides, you have to score that early goal. And because we didn't do that, Ipswich then maybe got a foothold into the game, got more organised, and Villa dropped off that little bit more. Maybe some of the passing movements didn't work out. And then Ramsey started to have less influence in the game. Rodgers wasn't quite getting on the ball as much as he could. They were pressing quite high, which meant that we couldn't necessarily get the ball out. We were going long and direct, and the only real main chances that we had in that first half was one for Watkins from a long direct ball that went over the top. He probably should have done better. He was under pressure from the centre-backs and drags his shot wide. As I could say, probably should score. And then the big opportunity came towards the end of that first half, where the ball, really nice play down the right-hand channel. Watkins gets it and beats his man, then cuts it back, and probably could be Ramsey after he made the interplay with Watkins, but Rodgers takes it off him, hits the shot at the near post, and the goalkeeper manages to tip it round the post. Really good save. But those are the two big chances for Villa in that first half. The other major things that happened, Boubacar Kamara unfortunately had to go off with an injury, and we're not quite sure what that is. Tyrone Mings coming on for him. So that was Mings and Disasi at the back then, and Axel Tuanzebe getting sent off for two bookable offences. One when Rodgers was on the run and he chopped back and he did take him down, definite yellow card. And then one where Ramsey was running through right on the edge of the box. Really good play from Ramsey towards the end of that first half. And Twanzebe dragged him back when he probably should have just let him go through, because I think Calvin Phillips was coming back in, and it may have been more difficult for him to score. But that made it even more frustrating that we didn't capitalise on this. We just couldn't move the ball quick enough. We couldn't commit enough of their players in tackles. We couldn't beat enough of their players. And second half substitutions, Rashford coming on at half time, Maatsen coming on at half time for Digne and Ramsey. And to be fair to Rashford, he was the one who was trying to beat men. He was the one who was trying to make something happen. And we had a couple of opportunities at the start of the first half, mainly through Rashford. But it was Ipswich who made the breakthrough. And it was that man, Liam Delap, who did really, really well all game, was a real handful, was a very strong player, really strong against Disasi, really strong against Mings as well. And we did really struggle to handle him. Ball goes out on the right-hand side with Hutchinson. And this is my major criticism of Aston Villa this season. Just letting crosses come into the box. Ian Maatsen lets the player have 3, 4, 5 touches before he even tries to engage with the tackle, lets him beat him down the outside. Hutchinson whips in the ball, and somehow, Liam Delap manages to get in between Disasi and McGinn and flick it with the inside of his right foot into the far corner. The ball evades Mings as well as it's coming into the box, and it was brilliant movement and a brilliant goal, and absolutely fair play to Liam Delap. But that obviously gives Ipswich something to hold on to. Villa, again, huffed and puffed, trying balls around the box. I think it was Maatsen who had an effort that was saved by the goalkeeper. And then Rashford, again, running with the ball. We managed to get a couple of free kicks on the edge of the box. I think the first one we mess up or something happens. The second one we have, up steps Rashford this time. I think he thinks we've messed around with these free kicks for far too long. Smashes it from about 35 yards out. Smashes against the angle of post and crossbar. Bounces down at a rate of knots. And Ollie Watkins comes in this time again in front of a couple of defenders and manages to get in on the rebound and puts it in the net. And then you're thinking, right, go. There's another 20 minutes to go. Go and win this game. Rodgers has a header saved by the goalkeeper. Asensio's now starting to pick up the ball in spaces, trying to do things. And he was probably on a one-man mission to score a goal. He has 2 or 3 efforts, one of them in particular. Really nice play. Ball comes across to him on the edge of the box, and he just curls it with his, curls round the ball with his left foot, right going into the bottom corner. He can see it going in. The keeper somehow saves it and tips it round the post. The keeper had an inspired game. He saves another effort from Rashford as well, where Rashford curls it. And then right at the end, it's desperation station. I think it's Rashford down that left-hand side, cuts it back. And I think it might be Tielemans that lays it off to Rodgers. He hits it over, should score. Asensio has one. Again, I think it's down the right-hand side this time. Ball comes in the box to Yuri or to McGinn. He taps it back to him. And I don't know how he doesn't score. He should score. Goes over the bar again. And then right at the end, Rashford, just inside our own half, nutmegs the fullback, runs, takes it past another defender, cuts it back. Rodgers hits the shot. It gets blocked and it bounces up in the air, and it just looks like it's going in. And the goalkeeper somehow dives and just loops it up, and it goes wide. And yeah, we just could not get that winning goal. Couldn't get the winning goal, but it shouldn't have to come to that. It shouldn't have to come to that. It's not good enough. We don't move the ball quickly enough. We don't try and beat men. We don't try and get in behind them enough. We're trying to craft the perfect goal too often, and then the time gets more and more away from you. The team, the opposition that you're coming up against, this time Ipswich, and full credit to them, put their bodies on the line, were well organised, had a danger on the break in Liam Delap, score a goal, then we're right against it. Now we're trying to be desperate getting back into the game. We managed to, and then it's shots from here, there and everywhere. But we need to have that urgency. We need to have that spirit at the start of the game. You have to compete against the team that you're playing against to then be able to play your football further on later on in the game. We've got it the other way around. We're trying to start off quite well, and then we go into this lull of a full sense of security, trying to just knock the ball around as if we're 3-0 up. Then we get a shot in the arm where the other team scores, and then we think, oh shit, we better start doing something now. And then we're at panic stations, and all of a sudden we've got Rashford trying things, we've got Asensio trying things, we've got Rodgers trying things, we've got Garcia trying to push forward, we've got Maatsen trying to do it what he can, we've got Watkins buzzing around the box, and then but it's all too little too late. And this is what's going to cause us. If I bring the league table up just to finish off, we've dropped down because Fulham got a great win today, and we're now in ninth position in the league. It's just not good enough. It's not good enough. Fulham ahead of us on 39 points. We're on 38. Newcastle got battered off Manchester City, so City go into that top four. We could and should have been on 40 points today. Not taking anything away from Ipswich, but we should have been on 40 points today. We should have been 1 point behind Newcastle and 3 points off Chelsea and Bournemouth. But now we're 5 points off Chelsea and Bournemouth. We're 6 points off the top four. Nowhere near good enough today. And if you're looking at that form, it's just not good. It's not good enough to get into the European spots. It's no way good enough to get into the Champions League, the form at the minute. Absolutely no way. And it's probably marginally good enough to maybe get into the top 7, but we're just falling off at the minute. And the amount of attacking players we've got, it's great, but you have to be able to put the chances away. You have to be able to create the chance, and you have to be less porous at the back. We're just so easy to score against. How can a player be able to put crosses in? How can players just be able to put crosses in willy-nilly? Yes, we've got players like Disasi and Mings who can clear it, but we shouldn't be putting them under that much pressure. You've got fullbacks have got to put their bodies on the line when players are crossing the ball in. It's just nowhere near good enough. In terms of performances, I thought Garcia was good going forwards, and he kept going. He had one really good run up that right-hand side that ended up getting Jacob Greaves sent off. He was trying shots as well, coming inside on his left foot where maybe he could have been a little bit more clinical, or maybe a little bit better decisions. But look, can't fault the effort. Disasi was okay, didn't really have too much to do. Maybe that Disasi and Mings partnership wasn't quite punchy enough with passes into the midfield. I didn't think Tielemans was as good today. I didn't think McGinn was quite as good today. Didn't maybe drive with the ball forward enough and commit players as I wanted to. Rodgers was in and out of the game, some really good things and then some sloppy things. And that was probably the case for a lot of players. Marlon was good for the first 10 minutes, then really faded and didn't really get on the ball enough. Ramsey, after being so good against Spurs, was pretty much anonymous today. Maybe the last 10 minutes of that first half came into it, but not enough from him. Watkins scored a good goal, but again, we didn't feed him with the ball enough. And one thing I've noticed as well, when the ball goes in our box, our defenders and attackers against us are throwing their bodies, throwing themselves at the ball. When we put crosses in, I don't see Watkins, I don't see Rodgers, I don't see Disasi had an opportunity where we worked a free kick and the ball went to the back post. Why isn't he throwing his body? Why isn't he throwing his head at the ball? So many crosses seem to flash across the box and we don't throw ourselves in front of the ball to try and score. I don't understand what that is. You've got to put your bodies on the line to try and get that result. Maybe we thought that another chance had come, but the chances run out. The chances run out. And now you've got to look at yourself and think that is 2 huge points dropped. We've got Liverpool coming up on Wednesday. We'll probably go and put in a performance because they will come at us. They'll offer space in the midfield. But then you really have to put away your chances. Then you really have to put your bodies on the line because they are going to create a lot of chances. So, yes, that is going to be another huge game. And then Chelsea coming up on Saturday. There is nothing less than 6 points needed now. The pressure is well and truly on. We have to get back-to-back wins to have any chance of finishing in that top 5. I think the top 4 is written off myself. I think top 4 is written off. I think we're going to have to go for 5th or below. And then look, FA Cup, if we can try and win that, Champions League get as far as we can in that. That's for me our best bet. I think we're ultimately looking like a cup side at the minute, a side that can win big one-off games because we just have not got the consistency in the league. That's it from me. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, help us continue to grow on the road to 6K. A frustrating game, frustrating evening. Aston Villa 1, Ipswich 1, 2 points dropped. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who would you give man of the match to? I mean, I thought probably Rashford really in the second half played really well. It was the only real driving force. Asensio, a decent cameo for me. But apart from that, I don't really know if anyone was really that good. We just kind of huffed and puffed. So be interested to know your thoughts on who you thought had a good game today. I'd probably six out of 10 for everyone, if I'm honest. I'd probably say Rashford. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. We'll be back with Talking Tactics with Gareth. I've got Lions Den latest coming up with Charlie, aka Academy AVFC as well. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Thank you for watching. And as always, remember, we'll follow the Villa.